In this video, I'm going to demonstrate the use of the for next statement in VisualBasic.net. Now, the for next statement allows you to iterate through code just like the while, the do while, and the do until statements, as we saw in the previous videos, with one major exception, one major difference. The difference is that while, do while, and do until are indefinite, in other words, it's not within the statement itself that determines how many times the code is iterated through, but within something in the actual execution of the code in the middle. The for next is different because you specify how many times this will run. So the determination of how many times to run this line of code, or whatever's between the for and the next statement, is determined within the for statement itself. So in this very simple case, what we've done is created an application that allows us to loop 5 times from 1 to 5, printing out the value of I each time. Now, what is the value of I? Well, the value of I starts at 1. Then, as we write to the console window, it'll loop, and I will increment to 2, and so 2 will be printed to the console window. And then it will loop again, and I will be incremented to 3, and so on until 5. So let's go ahead and build our solution. I've navigated to our project in our bin directory, and we'll type in for loop testing for a simple for a next loop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. So I commented out the previous section of code with the simple 1 to 5 loop, for next loop. And what I've done this time was taken it a step further. What I said originally, where we can determine exactly how many times that this will run, is not exactly true. What I really mean to say is that the number of times it's determined that this line will run is determined on the for line itself, not within the body of the for next statement. So in other words, we can check for variable information as we do here. Now, if you recall in our video about console applications, you can pass in command line arguments, as we've done here at the very top of our submain. We pass in and get an array of command arguments. We haven't talked about arrays, but we did talk about how to loop through the arrays and get the array and get each of the values in the array. So that's what I've done with this for next statement, because it's a very common use of the for next statement. So what we've done is 0 to ubound command args. So ubound command args will bring back how many arguments or how many values were input on the command line when somebody executed this application. And for each time that it finds one of those statements, it will write out the item. So it will take the value of I and concatenate that to the actual value that was placed into that argument. It's a little bit easier if I show you than explain it to you. So here's what we'll do. So I put the names of my animals here, and we'll notice that we're testing the loop using the ubound, and item 1 is champ, item 0, rather, 0 based, is champ, 1 is kitty, and 2 is Rocky, just as I entered them onto the command line argument. So you can use the for next statement to iterate through things that are variable in nature, but that doesn't change the fact that the determination on how many times it's run is in the for statement itself, not in the body of the for statement. Now what I've done is shown you how you can use the step statement to jump over certain iterations in your for statement. So in other words, for I equals 1 to 10, step 2, if we do this right, the first value will be 1, then what do you suppose the next value will be? Will it be 2? No, actually, step 2 will jump over step 2 and jump to 3. Then what do you suppose the next I will be? 4? No, it'll step over 4 and go to 5. So let's go ahead and save this and build our solution again. And we'll just go for loop. And you can see 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So we can use the step statement to step over any number. I can change this to 3 just to show you that 1, 4, 7, and then 10, and so on. Now what you can also do is kind of a backward step. Let me comment this out and uncomment this. And here what we've done is step 10 to 5, step minus 1. So now we can use the step statement in a different way to go backwards from 10 to 5, to count backwards. So let's go ahead and rebuild solution again. Here we go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, and so on. In my final example in this project, what I've done is shown you how to exit the loop if you need to break out of it for some reason. So for example, we've gone to a very simple for structure again for I equals 1 to 10. We're going to then evaluate if I equals 7, then we will call the exit for statement, and that will break out of the application. It'll go out of the for statement, and since there's nothing else, the last line of code that executes is the end sub. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and write to the console the current value. So you can use the exit for to actually jump out whenever you find the value you're looking for. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why doesn't it get to 10? Because the exit for is called before you get to that point. So I hope that this video was helpful for you, that you learned a little bit about the for next statement, and you can use all 3 of these looping statements within your applications. They become very valuable as you go on to write real applications. I hope you appreciate it and enjoy this video. Thank you.